Welcome to the deep dive. If you're involved in keeping heavy-duty industrial machinery running, the backbone of manufacturing, oil and gas, utilities,
Mm,
you know that downtime is, well, it's the enemy.
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
all about efficiency.
So today we're digging into a resource from peenergy.com, specifically their piece on Gear Guard, industrial lubricant excellence.
Right.
And our mission really is to pull out a key solution, something that can help you minimize those interruptions, cut costs and just keep your equipment running longer.
Exactly. We're looking for those practical, high-impact takeaways,
Yeah.
things relevant to the day-to-day grind in these industries.
Okay, so central to this seems to be Gear Guard by Jet-Lube. PE Energy calls it an ironclad guardian.
Yeah, that's a good description.
For things like open gears, chains, ball mills, cables, wire ropes, sounds like it's really meant for the tough stuff.
It definitely is. And what's really interesting, I think, is it's like dual action.
Dual action.
Yeah, it gives you maximum lubrication, but also, crucially, shock load protection. And you have to think about the huge forces, sometimes really sudden forces, these parts handle.
Okay, right. Let's unpack that a bit. Maximum lubrication, shock load protection. What does that actually mean for someone, managing operations day to day?
Well, fundamentally, it's about stopping the kind of wear and tear that just leads to breakdowns.
Right.
The lubrication keeps things moving smoothly, quietly,
Yeah.
less friction. But that shock load protection, that's key for preventing damage from like sudden impacts
Ah,
or extreme pressures, the kind of thing that can cause scoring or spalling or even, welding of gear teeth. Nasty stuff.
so fewer surprises, fewer of those breakdowns that just derail everything, schedules, budgets. That's the big win here, isn't it?
That's it. Less firefighting, more focus on productivity.
And you mentioned its performance comes down to its composition.
Absolutely. A key part is the unique mix in Gear Guard.
Yeah, the source mentions it embeds MOS2, that's molybdenum, disulfide, and graphite. And this is in a water-resistant grease base. Why is that combo so effective?
Okay, so this is where it gets pretty neat. MOS2 and graphite, they're both fantastic at cutting friction and handling heavy loads.
Right, sort of super slippery, tough materials.
Exactly. Think of them as creating this really strong, slippery film. Then, the water-resistant base is crucial because it makes sure the protective film stays put.
Ah, so it doesn't just wash off or break down easily?
Precisely. The source is clear, it resists running, slinging off, or melting, even in really harsh conditions. It provides a consistent protective layer.
That makes sense. A reliable defense that stays where you put it. That sounds vital for long-term operational resilience.
Exactly. And there's another practical point, too. For situations where you need a quick fix with, like, minimal disruption,
Yeah.
Gear Guard also comes in an aerosol.
Oh, that's smart. So for quick top-ups or maybe hard-to-reach areas?
Right. You get that flexibility, that speed, without compromising the actual performance. It shows they understand the time pressures operators are under.
Good point. It's not just about the product itself, but how you can actually use it effectively.
And speaking of understanding, peenergy.com also emphasizes their own background. They're not just, selling stuff. They stress their experience across oil and gas, utilities, manufacturing.
Right, so they're positioning themselves as more than just a vendor, like a partner who gets the bigger picture.
Kinda, yeah. They seem to recognize how these supply decisions, even lubricants, connect to the big things like safety, productivity, profitability. It's all linked.
That adds a layer of credibility, I think, knowing the supplier understands the context.
Definitely. And for anyone listening who wants to dig deeper into Gear Guard or just see what else they offer in terms of industrial supplies, their website, peenergy.com, is the place to check out.
Okay, so let's try and boil this down. What's the main takeaway from this dive?
I'd say the core insight is that Gear Guard represents a really potent strategy for extending the life and boosting the efficiency of heavy industrial gear.
Through that specific formulation, right? The MLS2, graphite, the base.
Exactly. That combination delivers the lubrication and the shock load protection needed to directly tackle those big pain points, downtime and maintenance costs.
Okay. And maybe a final thought for you listening. Think about your own operations. How many seemingly small details, like picking the right lubricant, might actually hold significant potential? Potential for improving reliability, cutting costs. What other small factors might be worth a closer look for those hidden gains in efficiency and resilience? Something to chew on.
Good question.
Thanks for tuning in to The Deep Dive.